We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, here it is. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 23 of the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go, Sports Bar. Brandon Carnes here with, look at that, that's not Justin, that's Brad 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗆 joining in while Justin heads to Italy. And, of course, we got the champ himself, Deon Thompson, sitting at the table with us. Gentlemen, we'll get things started. Basketball season's wrapping up. We talked about this a little bit on Friday, Deon, at the Game Day Nation set. Your MVP picks for the season. There was controversy on the NFL side of things. I know Deon's got some controversy because I think he's got a change pick from Friday to now. Deon, I'll let you assess your new pick first.
So I initially went with 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏.
Sure.
And I still think, arguably.
Tremendous role for that team.
Yes, when especially when Wes went down.
Sure.
But when I look at the consistency and body of work, I have to go with Isaiah Mack Russell.
Okay.
Out of Central Catholic. I think he has been, we talk about this, guys who are at the top of everybody's scouting report and can still get it done.
Yeah,
but he has quiet points. What I mean by that is he gets his teammates involved. You look up, he's not a ball hog. Not that other guys are, but I think he understands how to get his guys rolling. He knows when he gets a double team, he's going to drop it off. He can give it to you on all three levels. To me, he's been the best guy, most consistent guy I've seen so far.
Take that, Hobbs. Manny Johnson, who said Deon? No, we love Manny Johnson. We're just poking fun. Your boys' side pick, Brad, your first speaking role on the podcast.
Well, for me, this guy is not the leading scorer for his team, but I tell you what, he's been a huge role for the team all season long. I'm going Jaden Jones there at St. John's.
Yeah, I like it.
One of the biggest games that sticks out for me for him this season was when they went to Central Catholic and got the win. 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he had foul trouble, played less than 12 minutes that night. And Jaden Jones, when it mattered in the fourth quarter, scored 10 of his 15 points. He's been a consistent double-digit scorer for head coach Mike Schoen. And you look at, he can score inside and out. And because of his athleticism, he can guard any position.
Man, Brad knows what he's talking about. I think we picked a good one to replace Justin this week. I'm staying with Carter Kester. It's hard to argue. The value to his team, there's not really anybody that can compete. Deon and I were going to go back and forth here because your pick on Friday for the girls' side was Elise Bender. We gave you the gimme pick. I went with Victoria Gray, and we kind of had an off-air debate here about who means more. We know the immense talent on this Anthony Wayne team. You take Elise Bender out, they still have Brooke Bender. They still have Leah Pike. They still have so many options. Victoria Gray off of that Bedford team is a gaping hole to fill for that Bedford team.
Oh, I would agree with that, but here's the thing, too. Let me ask you something. So with Elise, okay, you don't want to fault her for having great teammates either.
Sure, no,
you know what I mean?
100%.
So we can't take away her greatness as well. She's been consistent over her whole career.
Yep.
I think Victoria has too. I mean, anybody that's doing double, almost 1,000
points, 1,000 boards,
that's special. But then I have to factor in the level of competition. Okay, and it's nobody's fault.
They
who
go
you
to
play.
the best of the best as Anthony Wayne this season.
Right. I think Anthony Wayne, they play a little bit higher of a level of competition. Sure. Now, with that being said, I think Victoria Gray would start on any team. So, but I have to go with Elise on this.
Brad, your pick, girls' side MVP.
You can't argue with Elise Bender. Just the way she continues to rise to the occasion in any matchup that they've had. They handed Mason their only loss of the season, and she went for a double-double in that game, 27 points, I believe, 11 boards. And then I had a chance to witness her against Perrysburg in the toughest team that Anthony Wayne faces in the Northern Lakes League, and she went for a program record, 36 points, a record that had stood for about 25 years.
All right, we are just getting started. We've got plenty more to talk about on the podcast today. We've got our clip of the week by Renewal Bar Anderson, our game of the week, a little bit of rivalry action on Friday night, and plenty more to get into. Make sure you're here every single Wednesday for a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast, or go anywhere you get your audio mediums, and while you're there, at BCSN Sports on all your social media pages. But big news, the brackets are here. Ladies and gentlemen, the boys' brackets dropped on Sunday. You know we're going to talk about them. First things first, Cisco, throw me up those D1 brackets. We'll start there. We'll start with D1 and D2. Here we are at the Lakewood District. A little bit of change, right, with all the new divisions, up to 7 divisions. The Division I boys are headed east. We've got Ignatius with the auto bye in the first round, Berea Mid-Park and Glen Oak, St. Ed, Elyria, and then Perrysburg and Cleveland Heights on this side of the D1 district. Gentlemen, Perrysburg, thoughts?
Well, I mean, my take is this is going to be tough, and here's why. Because 15 out of those 17 teams, they all have winning records.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure there are other teams that play like Perrysburg. It's a good thing we got Brad here because Brad could actually speak to that. I think it's going to be an uphill climb only because they're so young. You know, they start 4 sophomores, I believe, in a senior. But the problem is, you know, Cleveland Heights, they don't know these guys. And Perrysburg is playing with a lot of confidence right now. They're definitely confident. That young group has matured. So, I mean, hey, this is going to be a great experience for them. I think they're a couple years away in the future. I think they'll be okay. But right now, I'm not sure they're ready.
Brad?
I do expect Perrysburg to get that first-round win there against Cleveland Heights. The matchup against St. Ed's is who I think they'll see in that next round. And St. Ed's you'll get a great look at when they see St. John's a week from this Friday. But anytime you're going out east there and you see St. Ignatius at the top of the bracket, it's Dave Boyce has played St. Ignatius in past games in his career, and they know what's on the line there. It'll be a great learning opportunity. I don't know if it'll be a win for that underclassmen group.
Right, a lot of growth. They have overachieved essentially to this point. We'll slide to the other side of D1 bracket, Cisco. This is the Akron North District, loaded up with talent on this side. You've got Jackson, McKinley, Strongsville, Whitmer taking on Mentor in the first round, a big first-round matchup for this Whitmer team that we've seen kind of have up and down sections of the season.
I think if you're Whitmer, you're glad to kind of get away from here, just to be totally honest with you.
Get a fresh start in a way.
Yeah, get away from all the distractions. They actually got a low seed, which, you know.
Yeah, they're the 10th seed.
Yeah, so now I got, if I'm Coach Stacy, I got some fuel.
Shrug off some expectations.
Yeah, guys don't believe in us right now. They are still a very good team, very athletic team.
Dangerous.
They are dangerous, and I could see them getting out of there.
Brad?
Red Boyd did the map quest for us on that one, and you have to go 252 miles round trip during the week. Obviously, that's not an easy thing to do, but if you're looking at your two-headed monster of Mekhi Leach and Antoine West, if they get third, fourth score in that one, I like Whitmer to come out of there. But Brunswick, that number 2 seed, that won't be easy.
So that is our D1 side of things. Cisco, you can slide to the next bracket. D2, this is the Elida Regional. We've got Winton Woods, Harrison, Sydney, Miamisburg, and Troy Winter will take on Sydney. St. John's, Findlay, St. Francis, Northview. Let's be honest, we care about the bottom half of this bracket for now.
That's what I was about to say. Let's talk about that bottom side.
Findlay, I think we can agree St. John's slides on. Findlay having a tough year this season with a lot of rebuilding to go. You ask Rhett Boyd again, he likes the youth coming out of that Findlay program. St. Francis, Northview, though, one that I'm excited for because both of these teams have had, just like Whitmer, ups and downs, maybe the downs being a little more down than Whitmer.
This is a bit of a rivalry that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but we can talk about it on the podcast. I mean, St. Francis, Northview. Jeremy McDonald's obviously going to be a little motivated because he wants to beat St. Francis. But, I mean, let's be honest. St. Francis, I think when you throw in Al Horton on the interior, when they go through him, they're a tough out. I expect to see St. Francis and St. John's to go at it again. Now, who comes out of that one? I don't know. They're 1-1 on the year.
Sure.
So this will be the rubber match.
Yeah, the worry for St. John's here, the excitement for St. John's is they have gotten better and better and better as the season's gone on. We saw them in very close games that were winnable, and they figured out ways to win those close games as the season's gone on. We'll slide to the other half of the D2 bracket here. Start and Anthony Wayne, a first-round matchup that I am the most excited for. Lima Senior probably going to slide past Wait there. We got Fairborn, Northmont, and the bottom half of the bracket, we'll wait till later. We got to talk about them later. But now, Start and Anthony Wayne, Brad, the one I'm excited for in this first round.
Will we see round 3 between Lima Senior and Start?
Yeah,
they got to
play
meet
each
up for
other
the City League title Thursday night at Wade High School. Anthony Wayne did win the first-round matchup there against Start in the regular season. You're talking Blake Robinson leading that team along with Zane Kudzia. You're going to need a third scorer in that game, I think, to beat Start. Cole Biedenharn could be that guy.
Yeah.
I like the 1-2 punch of the Jefferson brothers there at Start. I mean, they got it done in a big way in the second half against Rogers the other night in the City League semifinals.
Sure.
You look like Meikle and Mikolajczyk. Those are a couple of the guys that I'm saying, hey, if you're looking for help for the Jefferson brothers to get a little payback against Anthony Wayne in the postseason, those guys need to have some strong performances.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Can anybody score with Lima Senior? That's the question we have to be honest about.
I will be frank.
No.
No,
the athletes that they have.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. They got, 3 D1 guys, legitimate D1 guys on that team. The athleticism and how they play. I know what you're saying about Start. Start, they defend, they play well. Robinson ended up hitting the 3, I believe, or a game-winning shot.
65-67 was the win for Anthony Wayne in that one.
I mean, that's going to be a good game, but I don't know if anybody, unless Lima Senior's having an off night.
Sure. Both of those teams are teams, I think, that can get you in a phone booth and kind of box with you, and if they can get that with Lima Senior, sure, we'll see what happens. But now we got to get into our Sean's Irish Tavern player of the week. Cisco, give me the wipe. You know what to do. Speaking of that scrappy Perrysburg team, our first Perrysburg player of the week winner of the season, Adam Gray, 22 points in Perrysburg's win over Northview. A very tight game in the first half, and then they slowly chipped away and extended that lead to pick up a 55-42 win and stay in that leader position in the NLL Buckeye on Friday.
And Adam Gray, you watch his highlights in that performance against Northview, and I think one of the biggest things you'll notice is the fact that he was scoring at all three levels. I mean, outside, knocking down the three, getting to the basket, and he's just a sophomore. And I think one of the biggest things that Dave Boyce pointed out about the young man is his basketball IQ. It showed in that game, and it did not surprise Coach Boyce at all about the performance from Gray.
Scoring at three levels, Dion, sound familiar?
Yeah, I like that. I'm old school. That's why I talk about that, because right now we're in the era of two-level scores. But I did see Adam Gray do his thing, you know what I mean? Like you say, on the interior. He's one of those young guys who has matured. Listen, Perrysburg is a confident group. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I would not want to see them in the first round of anything, just because they, that's what comes with youth. They don't know what they're not supposed to know right
100%.
now. So, yeah, but Adam Gray did an outstanding job.
All right, shout out to Adam Gray, Perrysburg Yellow Jackets, our player of the week, brought to you by Sean's Irish Tavern. We'll be right back after 30 seconds from Buffalo Wild Wings. Hit it, Cisco.
Buffalo Wild Wings buy one, get one free boneless Thursdays saved me so much cash, I can finally do everything I've ever wanted in life, like skydiving. You ready? No, this was a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to go back. Go, go! Yeah, I'll probably just use the money I saved to get more buy one, get one free boneless wings at B-Dubs. No brainer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
We like brackets. Yes, we do. We like brackets. How about you? We got more of them to roll up. We're going D3 through D7. Cisco, hit that first Division III bracket for me. All right, gentlemen. This is the Lake District at D3. Central Catholic gets the first round bye. Fremont, Ross, and Scott. Clay, Rogers, Woodward, Southview. It feels like everything's setting up for Southview Central Catholic District final here. Brad.
As Central Catholic, I'm going to see Fremont, Ross, Scott. That game could go either way. You've got kind of the youth movement on the Scott side there. And, Fremont, Ross, haven't had a chance to personally see them this season, but Coach Cahill always has that team ready to go. I'm most excited about Clay Rogers.
Yeah, 100%.
You have a Rogers team that now has some unfinished business. They're not in the City League final. They've had quality wins throughout the season. They are one of the better defensive teams in the area, holding teams to around 50 points a game. I like Rogers in that matchup against Clay. Maybe we get Rogers Southview.
So that would be part two. Rogers won the first game against Southview.
Yep.
So, Brandon, you're already picking Southview to move on.
Hey, listen.
I mean, wow.
I'm riding. I think they're playing well with Brandon Ingram, with guys like Jerron Witcher. They have guys that make plays, and that's not to say that Rogers doesn't, but Rogers is another one of those teams that just sometimes the offense isn't there.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes they're averaging, those three guys that sit at 9 points a game. Nobody in double digits for that team. The worry is, can you score when you really need to score or go home?
I'm going to explain what Coach Martin told me about that real quick. Yeah. I said, man, you don't have any double-digit scores. He's like, Dion, that's because we're up by a lot in most of the City League games. And I sit my guys at halftime and let the other guys play. That's why I don't have it. But defensively, he says he thinks he could guard anybody. Clay is a dangerous team. I like what you're saying, Brad, because you never know. They're a young team, and they catch fire from the three. They could potentially pose some problems.
And much respect to Rogers and what they've done this season because of the return, I think, of Rodney Martin. I mean, you had three guys that were double-digit scorers a season ago, and really they just bought into what is the long-term goal of this team, just taking care of business night in and night out.
All right, we'll slide to the Liberty Benton District in Division III. Bowling Green gets the bye in the first round. Then you've got Lima, Shawnee, and Bowser, Defiance, Salina, Wapak, and Springfield. This feels a lot like we're going to sit at Defiance and Shawnee.
Yeah, I would agree. Shawnee, they beat Lima Senior by, 14?
To them. Yeah.
So, and the thing about it, even though they're the number one seed, I know people are looking, why would they go on the board first? I remember Earl Morris used to do that at Rogers. He never wanted to take the bye.
Anthony Wayne did it on the girls' side this year.
Yeah, some teams have to do that to get going. They like getting in a rhythm.
Keep your momentum.
Winning that first game, absolutely.
Yeah, especially when they're playing the way they're playing. Keep games rolling. Keep your fire going there. But Defiance, Shawnee, they played each other earlier this season. Defiance, Shawnee get the win? I believe, yeah. Shawnee gets the win. I think it was 65-57, something like that. So we'll see how those things shake out. We'll go to the Division 4 side here, the Clay District. Perkins gets the winner of Port Clinton and Vermilion. Wauseon, Napoleon, Bellevue, and then Bryan and Maumee gets the winner gets Bellevue, and then the bottom half, Clyde roster play, winner gets 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗀, Brad.
You're talking about a Perkins team that has impressed in the Sandusky Bay Conference this season. I know a lot of chatter has certainly been about Margaretta and what they've done out in Erie. Perkins, I think, will make a run here. Napoleon, because of what they face in the Northern Lakes League, might give them a good test, but I'm not sure Napoleon's going to get by Wauseon.
That's what I was going to say. And 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗹𝘆, they've just been a juggernaut all year. I expect them to kind of, I'm not going to say walk through, but they're probably gonna make it to that semifinal.
Yeah, the path looks good. We'll say it that way. We'll slide to Division 5. This is Napoleon District. Sonora gets Liberty Center and Emmanuel Christian's winner. Eastwood Delta, Swanton Archbold, Lake Paulding. Emmanuel Christian still, without Nate Miles, has guys that make plays and can win games in close ones. Sonora got a tough battle there. And then from there, I mean, Delta, we've seen them play well throughout the season. Swanton, we know what Coach Bruce Smith can do with his guys down there with Charlie Wood and the gang, Dion.
Then you got Lake. We have a potential matchup of coach versus player. Luke Hickey coaches at Lake. He's done an outstanding job with that program, especially after losing the pieces he's lost last year. And Swanton, you know, they got the big guy down there. So
Charlie Wood.
And they played earlier this year. I think Swanton won it.
Does it feel a little bit like if Swanton faces Lake, you get a little bit of a Nick Saban situation where all the guys that have coached under him then go up against him and just can't get it done?
That's what it seems like, because the last couple of years, Lake hasn't been able to do it.
All right, we will slide to our last bracket here, Division 6, Old Fort District. Toledo Christian gets the first-round match with Cary, and then we've got O'Hills, Hopewell Loudon, Maumee Valley, Lakota. We call this the TAC District, gentlemen.
This looks fun to me.
This one I'm excited for, yeah.
I think we're going to see Maumee Valley potentially and Ottawa Hills locking up again, Toledo Christian. We could potentially see one of those two teams. I know the thing, I like Ottawa Hills because they do it by committee. There's not really one standout guy. Maumee Valley, they took it on the chin from Toledo Christian, who was playing exceptional right now. They're playing
their best ball this season. For sure.
Kieran Stokes, I think, gives Maumee Valley a chance to win any game when he's out there. Always a chance to go for 30-plus point performance. I mean, Maumee Valley, Ottawa Hills, you want that matchup again.
Yeah. The addition of Jabram Price into the scoring function for Maumee Valley has been huge as the season's gone on. That is it for our brackets. We've got Cardinal Stritch will be the only team from the area in the Division 7 bracket. They'll take on Montpelier in round 1. But now we got to get into our clip of the week, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Cisco, hit it. All right, clip of the week. Girls City League final from Saturday. Halftime buzzer coming in, and 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝗀, nothing but net. Woo! When it matters, 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 draining the triple as the buzzer hits. Good rebound, good outlet pass, and gets it off with 0.3 of a second to go.
And great game, by the way.
Great game, yeah,
real
absolutely.
Close game.
36-34 the final.
When you're saying halftime of this one and just how big that bucket was when you look at how it ended, because Bowser had a chance to win that one. They weren't able to get a shot off and ended up being a turnover. But this three from 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 put start up.
Matters, yeah.
11 points going into halftime. That was huge for a start team that we know they were plagued by injuries a season ago, and Dane said no one was going to feel bad for them last season because of the success they've had. Well, they earned this year's City League title.
Yeah, you see a good bucket on the inside, but a great rebound, and 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁, I fear no clock, nails the triple. Like we said, Start goes on to win the City League final 36-34. They will take on Fremont Ross in round 1 of the playoffs. That coming up on February 19th. You want more clips just like an 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗁 triple? Head over to our TikTok at BCSN Sports. We're sliding up to 15,000 followers, but now student section of the week brought to you by Unison Health and the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board of Lucas County. Give me the graphic, Cisco. We were in Sylvania last week. Why not stay there? We'll talk more about the game specifically a little bit later. But Northview, the Cats, are our student section of the week. Bring everything you got Friday when they take on Southview. We know the energy will be there. It's the Battle of Sylvania. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. But now, playoffs. We got more playoffs. All right, girls side, girls Division III sectional hoops, Rogers and Maumee, a rematch from just a week ago. On tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on BCSN Plus, a great matchup between two teams that battled to a 45-42 Maumee win. And on Friday, I gave you a extra MVP pick from me was Lucy Porter from Maumee because of the way she has played and helped lead this team. Mr. Maumee right next to me, Brad Wisnicki. Your insights, my friend.
I've had a chance to talk with Rafael Soler, and also Lamar Smith is my guy there at Rogers.
Of course.
And, how much stock do you put into that regular season meeting that they had last week, Rogers-Maumee? I know Maumee came out on top, but, Maumee, they're such a great team when it comes to extending their pressure. They packed it in a little bit more in that matchup against Rogers. Can they get out and run, get some easy transition buckets? I know Lucy Porter there, number 2 all-time scoring now at Maumee, and she's got Taylor Smith who can also knock it down from the outside. But I'm not going to count out Rogers in this matchup. This one really could go either way. I think Maumee's just grateful to have this one on their home floor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The thing with Rogers, if you can deal with their pressure, which Maumee did a good job of last meeting, then you have an opportunity. Rogers, once again, they're young, but Coach Smith has been here before, so he knows how to get his team prepped for these big moments.
No, I'd like to give you your moments to coach speak us out of those things. How do I deal with that pressure? What's the one thing I have to do if girls are pressuring me before half court?
Well, one of the things you have to do, you have to run a guy to the middle and run a guy opposite, and you have to tell your players to meet the basketball. Because one thing about teams that pressure you, they tend to overreach. So if you just lay back and let a guy cut in front of you, it could be rough. When you're handling the basketball, you have to be strong with the ball. Dribble up. I always tell people this, and people don't use this a lot. I used to tell my guys, because I didn't have great press breakers, dribble as hard as you can up the sideline.
Yeah.
They're going to run into you, and here's why. Most guys don't know how to stop and really set that trap well. If you draw any contact, you have the ball, most referees are going to call that a foul. So
that and good diagonal passing, right? I know Rhett
that's
loves
why the middle
to talk
and then you
about
go over
the
the top.
diagonal
Absolutely.
passes, get stuff out of that. Maumee riding a 7-game winning streak. They haven't lost since January 23rd in overtime to Oak Harbor. We talked about Lucy Porter, 18.2 points and 9.1 boards a game. Raquela Davis doing similar things over at Rogers, 14 points, 5.5 boards a game. The big thing for Maumee here is, can you score? This Rogers team, much like on the guys' side of things, they only give up 37.6 points per game. So finding a way to get those buckets, crucial for Maumee to get a second win in a row. And plus, that's a little more motivation for Rogers, right? We just lost you last week. We'll send you home from the playoffs.
Well, I'll be interested to see just how Rogers defends Lucy Porter. Are they going to try and make everyone else from Maumee have to get it done offensively and just try and take the ball out of Porter's hands, maybe throwing a couple of defenders at her, trapping her every time she's got the ball in her hands? That will be interesting. You need players like Rainhurt. I know Taylor Smith has also stepped up, and they've got Taryn Pyle there as a freshman, also will play a key role.
We'll see how this thing shakes out tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on BCSN+. The playoffs are ready to roll, and now we're ready to roll into our game of the week, brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. Cisco, hit it. If it's worthy of student section of the week, by golly, it's worthy of game of the week. The battle for Sylvania, Southview at Northview this Friday, 7:15 p.m. on the NLL Network. And boy, this Southview team, I talked about them a little bit earlier in the playoff conversations. They're riding a hot streak, right? They're 8-1 in their last 9 games. They picked up a 66-39 win over Napoleon last night, undefeated, already locked up their second straight Cardinal Division championship has Southview. And then this Northview team up and down throughout the season, but had really bright spots and tough competition. They played that whole first half with Perrysburg last week, really tight, and it was Coach McDonald's coaching at the end of that, hold the ball at the last minute or so. Let's not keep this thing out of control. Brad, how's this shake out?
I mean, how can you take away from what Southview has done this season as a whole? I mean, they're coming in here just 4 losses. But, Dion, tell me if you've got a bad loss on this schedule here. Perrysburg, Rogers, Whitmer, and Start. That's the only 4 blemishes on Southview's record this season. I got to give it to Southview for just their body of work that they've done.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at Northview, I think they're not the same team they were the first meeting in December. They're playing much better. You know, and whenever this game happens, you throw the records out. We know that. These guys, think about it, you know, they have to recruit against each other to get kids over to my school or your school. This game matters a lot. Trust me when I tell you, like, I don't know. This is a toss-up game. I do like Southview's body of work. I'm going to agree with you there. But I think Northview, as of late, they've been playing really well.
and I'm going to say this because I'm on the call for the game.
There we go. We got the man in the right spot
we
for
can't
it.
make a prediction.
I just lit a fire under Jeremy McDonald. I understand that. Yes. I'll say this, too. When it's the Battle of Sylvania, this game could go either way. This is an opportunity for Northview to get a little payback on their home floor.
We talk about we talk so many times.
Come on, Dan. I got to walk into that building.
We talked so many times this season about the environments of St. John's and St. Francis playing each other. That is no disparagement at all to this Battle of Sylvania because it doesn't matter which gym it's in. It's raucous. Those kids are rowdy. They're chirping at each other. The student sections are from across the gym.
They're real close, too. Standing room, you take the ball out, so you got to deal with it. Yes.
Yeah, the environment plays a big factor in it. The star factor of this, Jerron Witcher and Brandon Ingram against Tyler Robinson for Northview. Yeah. He's leading the NLL in rebounds, 15.7 points per game, and they were able to snap a losing streak last night. They beat Findlay 70-34. Little confidence boost, but for Northview, my goodness, you have to close the season with Southview, Whitmer, and A-Dub back to back to back heading into that playoff matchup. Get right, or boy, I hope it doesn't shake your confidence going into the playoffs.
Honestly, that's exactly the matchups I want to have before the playoffs because regular season record has never mattered. It will never matter. And so you get those 3 games before you play St. Francis. That's what you want.
That's exactly what you want, And like I said, they're playing really well right now.
100%.
They've lost a lot of games if you look kind of down the stretch. So it hasn't been – their record is not indicative of how well they've played. So I agree with you on that, Brad.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like we talked about, that Perrysburg game in the first half, I think a lot of us, even at Game Day Nation, were like, all right, here we go. Northview's banging with them. And then it just kind of got away late. That young Perrysburg team caught fire and pulled away. So we'll see if iron can sharpen iron. This Northview team gets a little bit ahead of steam heading into the playoffs. Southview won the first time, 67-55, back on December 7th, so Brandon, forever ago. What you got?
Can't put Brad on the spot. Who you think is going to win? Come on, Brad. You got the game.
Pre-game prediction before you predict it before the game?
Hey, before you have to go and talk to the coaches before the game? What do you
Dion, I have to walk into that building. I know the competitor that Jeremy McDonald is. I got much respect for Dennis Springs. But Southview, to give them a 5th loss, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
We can let Brad off the hook at least for 30 seconds here while Buffalo Wild Wings tells us a little bit of something. We'll let Brad cool down under the collar here. Hit it, Cisco.
I've saved so much money enjoying Buffalo Wild Wings BOGO half-off traditional wing Tuesdays. I can finally afford everything I've ever wanted in life. Wings. All I ever wanted was more wings. So yeah, buy one, get one half-off traditional wings is the perfect deal for me and my lifetime yearnings. I value it more than literally anything. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
Let's go sports bar. Let's go games list brought to you by Midas. We got a Thursday night that'll get you busy. Rogers and Maumee. I'm reading the wrong things over here. Rogers and Maumee, our first girls basketball matchup. We just talked to you about it. We've got wrestling on the board. City League Championships at Waite, 5 p.m. tomorrow night. And then a shift start in Lima going from Wednesday night to Thursday night. Brad's pointing fingers at me. What you got, Brad?
Well, that City League Championship for wrestling actually got bumped to Friday because of the fact that the City League boys basketball
all these things pending change. You see all these storms that are rolling through also. So all these things kind of pending change. So that City League Championship slides to Friday. Start Lima Senior. That's the boys City League Championship on the basketball side, moving from Wednesday night to Thursday night at Waite, hence the scheduling change. And then Friday night, Southview, Northview, Battle for Sylvania, O'Hills and EC, Cardinal Stridge and TC in Taction, Clay and Perrysburg, Napoleon Findlay, and then Troy Beaver Creek versus Findlay. Troy getting the win last night over Beaver Creek 4-0 in high school hockey. They'll take on Findlay. St. John's will also take on Amherst Steel on Friday after getting a win last night, gentlemen.
3 teams that have to be careful this week. Ottawa Hills, Toledo Christian, and Perrysburg. You guys have to finish the job. Take care of business because these can be trap games. If they lose, they essentially lose the league title. So this is one of those games. If you're a coach, you got to keep these guys motivated.
Yeah, if you're a Whitmer fan, you are rooting for Clay every second of that Perrysburg matchup to pull out an NLL Buckeye championship. But Thursday night, start Lima Senior, the rematch for the City League title. Thoughts on that before we get out of here, gentlemen?
Lima Senior, about 80 points a game. And
I thought you said Lima Senior by 80, and I was like, oh, my God, Brad.
That Brad going in.
But I will be interested to see if Willie Foster is available for that game. He had an ankle injury against Dayton Dunbar, didn't play Monday. I don't think he played last night against Perrysburg. We'll see an extra day of rest if Willie Foster is available.
All right, that'll do it for us for another episode of the BCSN Nation podcast. Thanks, Brad, for sliding in to hang out with us today. Of course, Deion Thompson. You want a brand new episode, stay right here every single Wednesday for a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast, or go to BCSN Nation podcast, bcsnnation.com/podcast, at BCSN Sports for all your social medias. Follow at 𝗶𝗏𝗵𝘁𝗀, at Thompson Jiu-Jitsu. That'll do it for us for today's episode. We'll see you next week.